everyone, I am Tacet, and welcome to the Gems of War Guild War stream, week 71, day 6. So today, of course, we're going to be doing Blue Guild War, but aside from that, we also have a bunch of spoilers for next week. So let's start and get into those first, and then we'll mess around with Guild Wars, and then get our Barbarian up a little bit, because I want to get 70 so we can finally cover a video on that little thing. And yeah, let's go. So first off, we'll be having a Zolkiri event next week. You'll be able to get a lot of blue-purple treat stones if you end up needing them, since she is a epic. You'll be able to get them for 200 glory each, which is extremely good price. It's the cheapest you can ever amass by a arcane for glory, or tied at the cheapest. So if you're needing that trait stone, definitely good to go and stock up on it. Other than that, it gets to, it's one of the empower troops. It gets to convert all yellow to green, and then web and poison the weakest enemy. This thing will definitely have some potential. All the empowers do, of course. They end up having an immediate way to convert out a color. This is obviously going to be particularly good for denying out yellow Guild War Day, if you're going to be using it for that purpose on a various defend team. Might end up getting used with the Wild Queen and stuff like that, as it gives pretty good synergy for it, since it has the web, which can help counter the fact that she can only really reduce down your attack when using Wild Queen, and also gets to feed a bunch of green to the board. It also has the same elf trait that all the Dark Elves from Zolkiri has, which is immune to Mana Drain, Silence, Fairy Fire, and Web as her 4 immunities. But yeah, she'll be able to end the Glory Shop, and definitely highly advised to max her out, as you'll get the trait stones to be able to max her out, and she should be pretty decent. Obviously, her on herself isn't really that good. She's just a synergy troop to make other things work, and she's just used for that utility. But of the Empower ones, it's definitely a little bit better than average. Green is a pretty good color. Denying yellow is a pretty good color. And web itself is not that common of a mechanic. And basically what web does, it does a couple things. For its duration, it makes it so the enemy that is webbed cannot gain magic. It also makes it so their magic is 0 for its duration. Keep in mind, this doesn't mean the ability will do nothing. It just means whatever they have in their ability that is boosted based on their magic will be zeroed out. And that doesn't even mean it will do 0 damage, because some things have base value, like a base value of 5, 6, or whatever it might have. So it'll still do something, whatever the ability is. It just cancels out any of the magic boost that it will end up having off of it. So still nice to have, as there are quite a few troops that can be hard countered nicely off of a random web, and she does it pretty effortlessly and immediately off of Empower. Anyways, other than that, oh, this is the normal page. Other than that, we have a couple things going on throughout the week. Of course, we have ourselves the, for Tuesday, we're going to be having Stone Song Airy, which will end up coming in. Wednesday is going to be the Lucky Pet. Lucky is the one that gives EXP. So if you need to go and get that up, you can get as high as 5 EXP, or 5% EXP every single battle extra if you have this pet. It's actually one of the better pets if you look at its overall value, because it affects every single battle you ever do. So that'll be around. Other than that, Thursday class event is Orb Weaver, so if you've been wanting to get that upgraded for next week's or next month's Guild War, you'll be able to go do that, as Orb Weaver is almost entirely used for that. And this Friday, we're going to be getting a new faction, which I'll be going over the troops right now. So we went over these a couple days ago, or several days ago, forget exactly when. But overall, new faction, not that good, but still want to go over it. So first off, actually, let me do them in rarity order. I think one of them is out of place. There we go. Okay, so first, Chaos Hound. This is a undead beast from the new faction that's going to be coming in. It is 10 mana cost, green-yellow, and gets to create 7 to 10 skulls, or create 6 to 8 doom skulls, or summon a Chaos Hound. Biggest issue with this is all 3 of them are not skull-oriented. So the fact that it could randomly do a summon off a 1 in 3 chance isn't really that good. Even if it wasn't a summon there and it was just the skulls or the doom skulls, it probably wouldn't be used much. If nothing else, it is a good low rarity skull spammer, but I wouldn't really advise it for anything. It's going to be way too inconsistent, and you'd probably get higher consistency out of using Skeleton, which is the exact same mana cost but only uses 1 color of purple. But overall, I feel like it's not really going to be used much. Other than that, it does have Death Touch, which does synergize a little bit with the fact that it creates a bunch of skulls, but other than that, it doesn't have much else going for it. Next up, we have ourselves the Ultra Rare from the faction. This one is also a really weird one, and probably the most useless one out of all of them. It either drains all mana from the enemy, or steal magic +1 attack from the enemy, or silences the enemy. All 3 of these aren't really going to do much, and for 12 mana cost, that is really, really bad value. This thing is probably going to be rather useless. The only redeeming quality he has is really good traits. 20% dodge into impervious, which is a great combo to have. Not the tankiest of combos, but from a faction perspective, that is pretty solid. He'll probably be used as the tank, even though his ability is 100% useless. But he is probably going to be the tank for this faction nonetheless, even though that aspect is useless of him. Other than that, for the epic, we have Craze Troll. This is pretty much one of the standard doubling trolls. It creates a mix of blue and purple gems equal to the current number of blue and purple on the board. If I'm not mistaken, the Madness Storm that's going to be on this following troop is a blue-purple storm. I don't think we've gotten confirmation yet on if it is 100% a blue-purple storm, but if I had to guess, there's like a 90% plus chance that it is blue-purple, as it would make sense as it would synergize with this troop as well, and everything else within the faction, and the banner color of the faction, which is something blue-purple oriented if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, he's pretty much just a standard troll as far as his traits, the only really redeeming factor being that he might be able to synergize pretty well with the faction legend. And as far as the faction legend, it is this random mess. It ends up doing deal magic plus 3 damage to all enemies, which is decent, or jumble the board and gain an extra turn, which is really bad. There's a troop of the exact same mana cost that does that for 7 mana. She does it for 16 mana. Or explode 5 gems, which is also pretty bad. 5 for 16 mana costs is extremely bad amount of value. And overall, she's just going to be horrifically bad because every single thing is priced very weirdly relative to her mana cost. That amount of explode should be at least 10. The jumble board should have at least some kind of extra something on it. And the full AoE is not even going to be that worth it because not only is it a 1 in 3 chance, it's not even that high of an AoE given that it's 1 in 3. So pretty much every aspect about her is horrible, like pretty much everything in this faction. This pure faction is going to be so annoying. I can already see it now, but we'll see how it goes. And of course we'll be doing that probably on, well, we'll be starting it next Friday. Probably be finished by hopefully Saturday night. But anyways, as far as her unique trait, it's actually a really unique trait. She is the first troop in the entire game to get it. Unfortunately, she's completely useless, so we won't really be using this mechanic much until another one comes into the game. But she gets to conjure a Madness Storm, which is what should be probably a blue-purple. We haven't actually gotten confirmation on it yet, but it should be a blue-purple storm, which is the first dual-color storm. We're going to slowly be getting this in for every single color in the entire game, and that is most likely a blue-purple. And we'll see exactly how that ends up panning out, the double storms, how they work, and testing it out. Unfortunately, they added it to such an initial useless troop, but hopefully some of the other troops that eventually get double storms will be better. It's a little bit weird that they have it as a unique trait as well, and they're not adding it as normal traits, because that means a lot of upcoming legends are probably going to be rather useless. Mostly because they're going to be wasting their unique trait in order to have one of these special storms. And these special storms are arguably weaker than the normal storms, and the normal storms appear on many things that just do it automatically. So we'll see exactly how it pans out, but I don't know, I don't really feel like these double storms, at least with how they're currently implementing it, are going to end up being too good. But anyways, this faction in a nutshell is just horrifically bad. It's among one of the worst factions in the entire game, but we'll have to deal with it. Anyways, as far as other things that are coming next week, we are going to be getting a new weapon on Tuesday. This is for the invasion event. Apparently, this might be the first ever repeat on an invasion event, and they're not actually adding another troop. I think they're just repeating the one we already had, so that's kind of interesting. With that being said, what is the Zolkiri invasion troop, if that is the case, before we go over to weapon real quick? So let's go to Zolkiri and type in tower. Is there none? There should be. Zolkiri, we know you're in here. Let's see. Was it this one? No, that was the boss. Wait, next week raids or invasions? It should be invasion, right? Pretty sure it's invasion. Let's see. That's not it. Where's the other one? Is there not another one? Because I have no clue exactly what's going on with that. I don't think you are one. Yeah, where is the other one? It doesn't even have one. I'm honestly not 100% certain. It just seems kind of weird. Because I believe it's a repeat one. However, I don't see it on any of the spoiler threads. But anyways, we'll kind of get to that at that point once that actually comes around. But as far as the weapon, it deals magic plus 7 damage to an enemy. And is boosted by elf allies, which most of Zolkiri is elf. And then creates a mix of green and purple. This one should actually be pretty good. Green and purple is a really viable buff to elves, since a good majority of them end up using this. This will also be really great synergy with the Orb Weaver team, because you can end up using this for Arachnian Weaver. You can fill this into yourself. You could fill this into the elf that gives half mana start to all your allies. So this weapon actually seems like it might be pretty viable. Other than that, it also gains the following effect. It gains +1 magic every time it casts. It fairy fires the first enemy, which is pretty solid, though do keep in mind a fairy fire takes effect after you do the damage, not before. So you do not initially get the 50% additional damage if you target it. It gets Enchant Itself, which obviously is pretty good since it gets some of its mana back automatically every single time. And it gives all green allies 2 mana, which in that kind of situation is going to be a good majority of your team. Its color is a bit weird, but it actually works pretty good in coloration for that Orb Weaver team. It's a red-brown, and that doesn't really block anything because Orb Weaver, of course, is a yellow, green, and purple. So ends up working out quite nicely. Search for Siegebreaker. Wait, is Siegebreaker the one that it is? Because under the spoiler of the threads, it doesn't mention it. I'm still not 100% what's up with that. I thought I did, but I didn't see it there. Also, what on earth is going on with this loading page? That's not what I want. I want, I think it's loading really weirdly. I want troops. But yeah, under the spoiler thing, it doesn't actually mention any here for the second thing. But Siegebreaker, you say? It's not there. Oh, never mind. It's Invasion, duh. So it's that makes sense. I forgot. It's Invasion. So it might not specifically be from Soul Carry, is it? Because they just did a repeat typing. Siegebreaker. Oh, never mind. Siegebreaker is the trait that has the thing. Let's see. Siegebreaker for Elf. Does that exist? Let's see. Is it him then? Sifu Yan? That'd be a bit weird. But yeah, I guess it's for Sifu Yan. Normally it's the exact same of whatever the kingdom is. But he is the elf for invasions. So maybe they're just repeating him then, I guess. Seems like what might be happening. Actually, I believe that one page ended up mentioning that too, didn't it? Hold up. One of these did. I know you're in here somewheres. Yeah. Weird. Sifu Yan. They're repeating him again. That is so strange. Why are they repeating him? Well, obviously because it's the same typing that's already here. Well, this is the first time we're ever getting a repeat one. That probably means I'm spending 0 on invasions for once. Or raids. If they start repeating them, there's really no value. If you already have the troop maxed, there is very little value in actually upgrading it. I'm not sure if a guild can get all rewards without it. So maybe you might still want to upgrade to some capacity. Oh, actually, never mind. You'd still want to buy up to the weapon. Though you could just craft the weapon instead. I don't know. I might just finally start crafting these weapons then. Because that seems like a waste of gems otherwise. I'll see how far my guild gets. Maybe we'll still buy up. But we might just save the gems for next Friday's faction. Because we're going to be dumping like 2,500 gems at that or so. So, yeah, we already have this guy max. So we don't need to buy it up to max. That's weird. We'll see what we do once we get to that point. But that is super weird. Anyways, let's get into Blue Guild War already. Now that we got through all the little spoilers. As far as ranking, we're currently 3rd for this bracket. I have a good chance to take 2nd. Not sure if we'll make 1st. Depends how many battles we have relative to them. But it looks like we'll make a pretty solid 2nd or 3rd. Both of which move up the same amount. So it doesn't actually matter if we make 2nd or 3rd. The only difference would be if we made 1st or 4th. In which if we made 4th, we'd stay in bracket. And if we made 1st, we'd move up 2. But if we make 2nd or 3rd, we're going to move up 1 regardless of which one of the 2 we do. And that seems like what we're on path to do. And finally, I will not be Paragon again. We lost too many times yesterday to be able to redeem Paragon. Even if we got like a 9,700 today, we still won't be Paragon. So we're finally not Paragon. I think we had it for like 4 months in a row. I think that's the longest streak of Paragon I've ever had before I've lost it. But anyways, Guild War Blue. I haven't learned my lesson, so we're using Vespera again. Except I do want to use it with a tankier hero class. I think I actually want to use it with Titan, oddly enough. I think we could go Corsair. I don't think Corsair has Skull Dodge, do you? I forget. Yes you do. Okay, we'll go with Corsair. He has a lot of blue. Rogue thing, we can't use any of those. Submerge, because why not? Extra life for blue, sure. Polearm doesn't do anything. Extra gold every single turn. Also won't really do much, but hey, free gold. And then we'll go Hunt. Okay, that should be fine. We're obviously mostly doing this for the +3 blue. Or I should say +2 blue, because we're putting the other one into 30% dodge, due to it being first slot. So yeah, let's just roll with that. Go with a high amount of blue, and we should be good to go. The only other thing I need to go change out is our tokens. I think I want to run this with... I almost want to say life so we don't die. But I think we'll go magic. Get that better buff for Vespera. After a few casts, I will basically make up for it anyways. Also, 2 redeem codes. Someone else was streaming earlier today, apparently. We'll have a redeem code of our own a little bit later in the stream. But anyways, Guild Wars, fights, and let's go take these out. And of course, we're using Anu Scepter, Shabanu, Vespera, and Double Winter Imp. We're still using this composition of a blue team of Vespera. Also, I didn't even say hello to everyone yet. Let me go back. Yeah, Keyline was streaming for a little bit. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Foro. Hello, Dertero. Hello, Birdleaf. Hello, Army X-Tube. Hello, Mobarashi. Hello, Joe T. Hello, Haley. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Time to Die. Hello, I feel like I'm repeating some. Hello, Original. Hello, Foro. Hello, Brian. Any advice for Dervish, Bats, and Grey King team? You could mass feed blue. I'm not sure about using Dervish with that. But you can use a blue spammer to get both Grey King and Bat up, and just use like a mana generator in front of it and go from there. And that would probably work out decently into a double true damage hit. Let's see. Hello, Jellybean. Hello, Umfufu. Hello. Hello, Zex. Hello, Osman. Hello, Liz. Hello, Walter. Who else have I not said hellos to? Hello, Imperd. How good is Shabanu Vespera? She's good at looping. I don't think she's as much she isn't as much, gosh, I can't speak words. She's not as much needed as something like a Wild Queen. Like, they're both really good mythics that can run for multiple different Guild War days. But Wild Queen is just so much more consistent. Like, honestly, Wild Queen I almost would say is like 3rd highest priority to craft in the current state of the game. She's just so consistent compared to anything else for Guild War days these days. And she covers 3 whole days. A brown day, a green day, and purple day with the Wild Queen. But yeah, this one isn't as much of a need to have. I do like running it because I find the team to be pretty fun to mess around with. But you can still get away with other things on all of the Guild War days that she's viable for. Not to mention the Wild Queen just being able to take the purple instead. But she's okay. Because all we can do is just keep spamming this over and over and over again. And as long as we're not frozen, we pretty much just auto-win. The only big issue with this team is it is really bad at making a comeback, which is not that good for Guild Wars. When it works good, it's great as far as what it scores, like right now. But when it fails, it doesn't really have any way to come back from that fail, as we kind of saw yesterday twice. With this team, we basically just buff up until we have enough true damage to wipe his entire team. I think one more will do it, and then that should be enough damage. Just want to make sure we have no other moves left on the board, and hopefully that brings us to a point where we have no more moves left. Then we'll just do that, do it again, dead. And that's match. Use that. Rinse, repeat. And we even have some immune to freeze on this team. Let's see. What is he running? It's still annoying to run against freeze, though. Because we're kind of hoping it hits on hero. Actually, so much so, you know what? I'm going to just put cleanses. Cedric. If we see any freeze. I learned from yesterday. If we see even a single freeze, we are going and putting on a cleanse on everything. Just so we can hopefully immediately get that freeze off of us. Also, thank you, Johnny, for the good luck on the battles. Let's see. Who have I not said hello to? Hello, Lochnar. Hello, Mats. And hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome. I know, I didn't make her look really good yesterday. Today, she should look a lot better. What do we want here? Take that. Grab our blue. We can then hopefully feed right into Vespera. I don't want to take purple because it's going to cascade the other thing. So we're going to go for yellow here. And get all that taken out. Nice little extra turn randomly there, too. Didn't even need that, but I'll take it. We're actually going to let him skull poke us unless we can get this for free, and we did. We're still frozen on blue, so I might just want to wait a turn, just take the skull. However, he gets so much purple out of it. However, he doesn't actually use the color of purple, so maybe I'll just give it to him and hope he doesn't cascade anything. So we'll do that. Hopefully we'll be cleansed. Good. And now we won. It's over. She can still fail, but the chance is pretty low when you have a team like this. Oh, that just failed. All the manas, no. We still need a few more casts. Okay, I think that should be enough. Actually, no, that's a little bit short. He has too much HP. So we'll take that over. Get rid of all this junk off the board. I actually want to do a few more times, even though they waste turns. Just to make sure we don't miss. Like, how much damage is that now? I almost want to go for it just to make sure we get rid of that. But I also want to make sure we actually have enough damage to get rid of it, which would be helpful. Okay, they're stunned right now too. So I think we just go for it right now. And then dead. Almost got a death there too. She does have resummon if we happen to die though. Assuming she isn't stunned. Also, one thing to keep in mind too. Stun makes it so you cannot use the Medal of Cedric. Medal of Cedric is the only medal in the entire game right now that can be stunned. Technically, all of them can be stunned. However, the other 5 currently, they trigger right at the beginning of battle. So they can't be stunned since they already triggered. But every medal that ever comes into the game, into the future, that has a reoccurring effect, like that of Cedric, they can be countered with stun. And Cedric's currently the only one that's like that. But that's applicable to every single medal that ever gets added to the game, where stun will prevent it from triggering if they have a reoccurring effect. They basically count as traits almost, the medals. They don't really normally perceive them as traits, but it's essentially what they are, is they just act like traits, like additional traits. So they can be stunned, just like traits can. Okay, we did not get full mana back to her, and we just got a double silence on us. Ooh, that's not nice. Still worth looping though. They should probably be buffing up the one that isn't silenced. Also, can we get a random skull? That'd be great. Because I want to get rid of his barrier. Okay, we're just gonna have to cast, and then hope it's down by then. So we'll go for this. That'll get rid of the barrier. We'll then go for it again. Go for that. We are gonna have to wait for those 2 submerges, but we can easily just skull bait them, and that's gonna be fine. So we'll do that. Get our poke, and then dead. Oh, never mind, not dead. Still need to break your barrier or your submerge too. Which as soon as she casts, she'll end up breaking, or if she takes that skull, either or. Oh no, I just got rid of her the skull she could have gotten. Rip. Oh well, she'll still break our barrier there, and then we kill. There we go. If nothing else, that gave us more damage. That might have actually even given us more points, just because we had even more damage to be able to do in that specific battle. Anyways, here's a life and death team. Are there any team synergies or combos you feel are underappreciated? Well, most of them get used for quite a few things these days. It's kind of hard to tell because there's so many different teams that could be used in so many different locations. But no, I feel like most teams end up getting decent exposure these days. Because PvP people just tend to play fun teams. And then every single other game mode basically has their full wide range of things that you can use. Okay, so we can still get the full gem spawn here. We just don't get as many stats while we're webbed, because it takes away the magic. However, the main thing we actually need the magic on does still have it, so that's good. We're just not getting as much buff from constantly spamming this as we would be otherwise. So that is fine. Also, keep in mind, this one can't gain magic. This one can because it's not webbed. But the other one can't because it is webbed. I think we're just going to go for the cast here. I'm actually going to give him this. Excuse me. Yeah, that was a weird burp. But anyways, we'll go for that. Of course, he would get a summon there. Good. You just got undone. So now we can actually spam this a bit. Oh no, that's actually hiccup. That wasn't a burp. No wonder I sounded so weird. I've gotten the hiccups randomly. Thank you, 4-0. Okay, that should be enough to kill. No, it's not. It's enough to kill the bottom 2, though. And I just have to deal with his main one, which will die off of this. Just give him full mana, and he's dead. And luckily he did not get an Orb Weaver there, otherwise we would have needed to do it again. And then one more battle. As you can see, Vesper's going a lot smoother today. She's just bad at making a comeback. When she's in the lead, it's fine. Like, this one we could potentially lose. Okay, luckily we got some good starting mana. It's always one of the bigger issues with this team too. A bit of a slow start. Once it gets going, it's normally fine. But the 2 biggest downsides it has is slow start, and it can miss its loop pretty easily as well. But we'll go for that, and I will start buffing up our troop and hopefully not die. Good, we got a cleanse there too, so we can actually buff up our hero some, which I actually do want to do just to make sure it doesn't die because he has a lot of skull spam, and we kind of need that to make our hero tanky. So we'll go and keep giving this a little bit of buff, just to make sure he has enough to actually survive a skull spam. And this also gives him a 1 in 4 chance that he'll get attack as well every single time we do this. A little bit less magic for the other two, but I think it's going to be fine. You still get plenty of magic every single time we take blues. And at this point, we should almost be good to go. How much damage is that? Not enough yet. We'll go for a few more times. Also, if you're wondering why Vesperer seems broken sometimes, this is why. It's not 100% consistent, but it does do this, which is really funny. And it scores really well for Guild Wars. Or we should be on track for 9,500. I don't think we made any kind of mistake that would have made it go otherwise. The only mistake I could make is if I let him live, so let me actually go a few more times. I guess the only thing that we're doing slightly bad is we are taking quite a few turns to do this. And I don't think we have enough damage to wipe right now, so I'm going to have to give him that skull spam, I think. What's your convert again? So let's make sure he has no convert on the board. He does purple to red and brown to skull. Yeah, that shouldn't do anything. He'll gain like a little bit of mana, but it shouldn't do anything too bad. So we'll do that. He'll do a poke. And it should hopefully kill. 240 damage. How much currently does he have? More than 240. Not much more than 240, so let's buff a little bit. Which I probably should have buffed up that one. And there we go, that's enough now. No, it's not! 20! I forgot the 25% spell reduction on the bunny. I didn't calculate that in. Fail. Anyways, we got 1,680 for that battle. And the total comes out to... let's see. 7,299. What did we do that made it go lower? We didn't lose any. Huh. Well, we'll replace all the Vesperer teams next time. Because that actually is not exceptionally high. Like, that's not bad. A 9,300. Seemed like I should have done a little bit better than that, though. I think it might have been because I was taking too many turns. The amount of turns you do, even if you're infinitely looping onto yourself, does reduce your points. Every single turn you do, including if it's your turn the entire time, counts as a turn for Guild Wars. And the more turns you do, the lower your points go. So it might have been that we were just spamming a little bit too much in some of those battles. That Submerge battle might have also done it some. Just because he ended up delaying the battle even more because of that. But overall, not too bad. I'll take it. But yeah, we might replace out both the Vesperer teams next time. I do really like the blue one. Maybe we'll replace out the purple one, though. Because the purple one, we could always just switch to Wild Queen. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I already changed my team back to my previous Wild Queen team for Purple Day. I changed it back to Zugoff, Greenseer, Wild Queen, Leprechaun. We were using this for some time prior, and I think we're going back to it because it seems pretty solid. Zugoff, ever since we can just give it HP, is pretty good first slot. You don't even necessarily need to give it the HP either. But you got a really strong Impervious in first slot with an instant kill and skull spam. Greenseer feeds directly into Wild Queen. Wild Queen is just ridiculously good for Guild War in every possible way. And Leprechaun's just the immediate mana. And it also has a +1 green to make it even easier to get Wild Queen's mana off of Greenseer and everything. So we'll probably stick with that for purple. Blue Day, we'll see if we'll actually revamp. I do love running that team. It's a lot of fun to run. But that was a pretty average score. Anyways, let's go run through dailies real quick. I need to go get that EXP for our Barbarian. Still making progress on that. Just want to get another level or two to stream for sure. Not sure if we're going to go all the way tonight, though. You still need another 4 levels. We'll probably go to 68 on it tonight, most likely. And go from there. Let's see. Hello, Eskeener. If you're farming trait stones in Explorer, is it better to just do the lower level stuff and wipe a team quick, or slower and do the level 12 Explorer? That depends by how much slower and what you're aiming for. If you're aiming for arcanes, you should be doing 12. If you're aiming for just a general wide range of trait stones that aren't necessarily all arcanes, then you should be doing the lower Explorer. Yeah, which is pretty much what 4.0 just mentioned. Let's see. I didn't check to see how we were as far as total placements. I forgot to go do that. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's a really fun loop. I honestly absolutely love using Vesperer. She might not be the most viable for things. Like, I like her as similarly as much as Skeleton Key Team. And that's a really fun loop kind of team. Or, you know, it has a really nice play style to it. That, Truffle, and Vespera I really like. Those three. Key, Vespera, and Truffle teams. The way that they play is a lot of fun. And even if they come out of meta, like Key team is not as meta these days, but still somewhat meta. Even as they fall out of meta, they're still a lot of fun to use. Yeah, Wild Queen has insanely good Guild War value. And she's also pretty good for PvP. But everything about Guild War she scores very well from. And the more I keep using her, and ever since the buff that they did last year for her, about a year ago, I honestly would say she's probably like the 4th priority craft or something. She doesn't upscale, so you can't really use her for a lot of that content. But if you're looking for anything to increase your Guild War score, Wild Queen's probably the way to go. Because half your Guild War days are just like auto 1 once you have Wild Queen. She can still lose, obviously. But everything she does is great value. You get to lower the enemy's attack, so you can bait out skulls. And so they do no damage. And the less damage the enemy does to you, the better. Because it helps your score. She makes it so you gain a bunch of mana accumulation. And gaining a bunch of mana helps you increase your score as well. And she has a lot of things that will help keep it on your turn. Because she can actually extra turn off her ability. And winning the battle in as few turns as possible while giving the enemies as few turns as possible also ends up helping with your score. Technically, it's based on total amount of turns. However, if you end your turn, that basically counts as 2 turns. You taking a turn and the enemy taking a turn. And with that turn, they could gain mana and they could gain damage onto you, both of which you're trying to avoid. The only turns you tend to really give on a Wild Queen team are skull pokes after you've already reduced down their attack, ideally. So they get really bad value out of it. Oh, you used Mother of Darkness for 5-0 today? Nice. What was your score for it, though? Was it like a 9,500, 9,300, something else? But yeah, I didn't bother using her for any of the Guild War days, Wild Queen. I mean, not Wild Queen. I mean, Mother of Darkness. I still personally feel like she's too underwhelming. Also, her bleed, I'm pretty sure does not count as damage. Gosh, how many codes is Key Lime giving out today? I know he wasn't streaming earlier this week, so he must have accumulated all of them just to give them out right now. We stream like every single day and sometimes twice a day. Whereas most of the other people that stream only do it a few times a week. But anyways, let's go clear out dungeons. It is Diamond Day, of course, so we definitely want to make sure we clean these up. Let's do it with a Key team. Also, I still never went over that Quillen team, or Quentin team, I should say. I definitely need to do that, because I only have, like, what, 5 more hours to go record it. So we'll definitely need to do that. And it'll probably be up later tonight. And the Monday event video for tomorrow should hopefully be up at a much more timely manner. Should be. Let's see, we'll take that down. Get our mana accumulation. And do that again, and then go right into Key. Where's the fun, police? When you need them? I know. Where are the developers? They must nerf everything fun. I'm curious to see what kind of rebalance might be in next patch. Hey, that reminds me, that's something I didn't check today. Did they finally post the thing for the beta yet? She'll probably mention it on Monday if they haven't already done it. Let's see. Where'd it go? Well, I found the thread. She still has no link on it, though, as to what the, what the form will be. Unless they made a new post on it, but I don't believe there's a new post. No, just the 2 event posts. So I'm not sure what's up with that then. Because there's no mention of the form. They're going to be basically releasing some form that people will be able to fill out in order to join the beta program. I'm not sure how many people they're going to be taking or what they're really going to be doing to determine who they're taking. But all I know is they got in automatically. So I don't need to worry about it too much, but I know a lot of people were curious about it. So I want to let everyone know once it does become public. But it doesn't seem like it's public yet. But I will make sure to let all of you guys know once it does. We might even just cover a video on it too. There's quite a few people I have asked in the past. And I just said, oh, just go contact Salty. And apparently too many people may have contacted Salty. Because they're now finding a way to like streamline it a little bit better. So that Salty probably doesn't get spammed with as many requests. What am I looking for here? We'll take that over for now. Take the green down. Apparently too many people were just complaining about things as part of the beta, so they decided to change things. Really? Well, that did happen quite a few times in the beta, but that's mostly because they kept trying to change things for the worse. And most of the people that were previously on the beta were like people that have been around for ages in the game. Like 4 or 5 years. So maybe they'll try aiming to get some fresher people as well. Anyways, always make sure to throw 50 gems on the pack every single dungeon day on Sunday. Or not every single dungeon day, but on Sundays. Has really good value on Sundays. You get 2 gem keys, which is pretty much half the value of the 50 gems anyways. You get 80 diamonds, which even if that was the only loot would be worth 50 gems. And you also get a free celestial and a few other scraps in there. Always worth going for. On Sunday only. On the other days it's not worth going for. Anyways, speaking of codes that we were just getting spammed with earlier, let me go actually give out a code. Let's see, where's my code section? This one should be the one that's good. It's either this one or the one below. Let me check both. Are you good? You're not, so it's the one below. I need to go mark those. Haven't marked them for a day or two. Put that there. Paste that. Put that over there. Copy, copy. Paste, paste. Oops. Put a space there so it makes the link a hyperlink. And here you guys go. Here's the redeem code. Used on gemsofwar.com for the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Redeem code is right over there in chat. Just copy paste the random numbers and letters. And it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Enjoy, everyone. It's only usable on PC mobile version. There you guys go. Can we get at least 1 more power level on Zolkari? Yes. Zolkari will go up 1 power level as of Monday. Which means... oh, wait. Yeah, it'll become 11 stars on Monday. Currently, it is... oh! That's actually really relevant. It's going to become a Magic Kingdom tomorrow. I mean, a +1 magic. Wait, we're going to get 2 +2 magic in a single week. We're going to, for everyone who has Zolkari capable of being 10 starred, or power level 10. Yeah, 10 star, power level 10, same thing. But anyone who can do that, you're going to get +1 magic. And anyone who has really high Underworld renown, if you have almost every single faction in the entire game maxed, you're going to be able to get 1 magic on Friday. So yeah, we're going to be getting 2 magic in 1 week. I think that might be the first week ever we've gotten 2 magic in a week. I'm not sure. Theoretically, it could even be 3 magic in a week. If we get some purple deeds next week, that will make it so most people will finally be able to have enough purple deeds to get a Magic Kingdom up. Because if you've been doing all the guild tasks and you have been playing free-to-play and haven't bought any of the purple deeds they've sold in the past, I believe next week, if we have even a 4 purple deed task, we should have enough purple deeds to max out a kingdom. So that means we might get 3 magic in a single week, which would be really cool. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we are really close. Yeah, we're going to have another 2, which means we're only going to be 2 purple deeds off, which means if you bought like the $5 or $10 purple deed task, or not task, but the little offer that they had a while back, ages ago, you actually would already have enough by next week, assuming you've done all the other methods. But for anyone who's been free to play or, you know, not buying any of the ones they've been selling, it is technically possible as long as they have at least 1 of the 7 adventure board things throughout the week is purple. We'll have 3 magic in 1 week, which is definitely the highest we've ever had in 1 week. One would be off of finally having enough purple deeds. Another one would be off of Zolkari 10-star. And the other one, which is the hardest to obtain, would be from ridiculously high Underworld renown. If you happen to have a renown of 44,000, which becomes possible as of the next faction coming out this Friday. So yeah, that would be 3 magic in a week. That is a lot of magic. Anyways, other than that, let's go level up Barbarian some. Don't think we have anything else we need to mess around with at the moment. We did all that, we did all that, we did Guild Wars, so let's go grind up this class. And we already have our tokens set accordingly, or I should say the medals. And then we could just roll with, where'd it go? Then we just roll with, yeah, this one. That's not it, never mind. Where's my Explorer team? There it is. Too many different worded names. Yep, no problem for the code, everyone. If anyone still has any other questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know and we'll make sure to do so. And then let's go get 2 more Barbarian levels. Should be pretty close to the next one already, I would assume. Like 67 we should be like pretty much right on top of. Let's see. Yep, every single time I check, it's only a few away. We're only 3 off. Exactly so. And then we'll also get 68, of course. Yes, as Army X2 mentioned, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps out a lot. For YouTube algorithm purposes. And we'll definitely 100%, without a doubt, have the Quinnen team coming out tonight. The video just going over the new legend that came out this week. And other than that, the Monday event video should be up on a timely manner. I should be able to stay up tonight too and just get it done. Though I always say that, and then the biggest issue with that is I end up not being able to stay up the entire time. Then I get too tired, and then I sleep, and then it throws off my entire schedule for the following day. But hopefully, I should be up tonight and get it done. And if that does happen, I should have it up by like 7 or 8 a.m. or so. Assuming that happens. And that's the most ideal way, because it gets it out of the way, so it doesn't get in the way of any other schedule. Do you know the Switch event starting tomorrow? Yes, it's on the forum as well. I don't have the forum open, do I? Okay, well, let's just overwrite it here. If we go to gemsofwar.com, and we go over to forum, and if we go over to the official posts, official news, would be the easiest way to find it. We can see it right over here, the Nintendo Switch event, the most recent one. And if we show full posts, it is a Darkstone event. I'm not sure if you're going to be getting any additional stars off of that on Switch, but it's a relatively useless troop. However, you'd be able to stock up on brown-blue trait stones, so that's great for upgrading Core Vash, among other things. You also have to get a useless Doom weapon. No reason to really do anything with that. But yeah, if nothing else, you can stock up on brown-blue. That's about it. I don't think I have anything else too eventful going on. Though you might be getting a new faction this Friday. I'm not sure which one is for Switch. But as far as the Monday event, this is what you're getting. Useless Doomstones for a brown Doom, and all the brown blue arcanes you would end up needing, since you could buy them for 200 glory each, 400 per pack. Each one has 2 in it. Yes, Essence of Evil can run at 12. If you don't have Scorpius, a few methods that you have is Mang into Skull Spam, Essence of Evil, and just spamming it over and over again, pretty much. You have Rowain team. If you upscale Rowain, you can do this with Urskia Shield, which you get from Sentinel Hero class, which you get from Urskia Kingdom. And if you get 250 wins on that hero class, you get Urskia Shield. That's great for upscaling Rowain armor boost, so that you can cast a few times onto Rowain and then wipe out the entire enemy team. So there's Urskia Shield to Rowain, there's Essence of Evil spam, there's Mang into Skull spam, and those are probably your biggest methods. Those are all the ones that use no mythics to be able to function. Are any of the craftable weapons this week worth it? No. Life and Death on Tuesday was. However, other than that, I don't believe there was any. We just have 2 Swords Edge weapons, both of which were pretty irrelevant. But no, nothing that's still craftable right now is worth it. The Edge Blade is not worth it, and the Cane Sword is not worth it. Those are the only 2 that are craftable this week. If you want them for collection purposes, you can. However, neither of these are even remotely meta, so you don't really need to worry about them. However, if you were to go for one or the other, if you just wanted to just go for one, I would say that the Edge Blade is probably a bit better, mostly because it has boost ratio based on Night. And we recently, of course, this week got a 50% Night boost, so you can end up synergizing this with that. But aside from that, no, nothing's really useful here. They're definitely both perfectly skippable. Gosh, how many codes are being handed out by Key Lime tonight? It's like the 3rd code or something. Anyways, back to this battle. Being a new early late-game player, you think a lot of the team suggestions require additional stats from factions and guilds. Is that accurate? Or some team suggestions might. Whenever I mention... Well, it depends what kind of team I'm mentioning in what kind of context, because there are quite a few teams that I might mention. that will not work in specific locations depending on your stats. For example, the team I'm running right now, you cannot replicate this on the exact same difficulty in early game. You can still replicate this team, but you'd have to do it on Explore 1 or Explore 2 in order to have enough damage. Doing it on Explore 3 would not be enough damage to wipe it out. But early on in the game, you do tend to lack stats. The first thing that you tend to do that gains a decent amount of stats is get all kingdoms to level 10. And then from there, you get all kingdoms to 5 stars. And at that point, any team I mention will pretty much seem exactly the same for the most part, as far as stats. My stats would probably still be slightly higher due to a few other things that boosted up, like Guild and Underworld. But if you had level 10 all kingdom and 5-star all kingdom, that's a good majority of the stats in the game. That's like a good, like, 70-80% of all stats. Let's see. Did I just say the weapons backwards? My bad. Whichever one is Knight bonus is the one you want to go for, if you're going to go for one of them. Whoops. Yeah, Life and Death was available on Tuesday, but unfortunately those faction weapons are only available for one day. Yeah, those faction weapons are actually starting to get slightly hard to obtain. Because a lot of people might not even realize that they're only available on Tuesdays. And not only that, but then they're only available like every several months. And that keeps the time keeps getting wider and wider spread. Every single time we keep getting more factions. You just crafted the wrong weapon. Oh no. Well, they're both still technically useful to some capacity. The other one's based on Sword's Edge. Sword's Edge still has synergy with itself. You can use Knight Hero class with the 50% Knight Troop with Elspeth, or not Elspeth, with Queen Isabel, and then one other thing from the Kingdom. So that weapon's not useless, but they're both similarly have almost no applicable use, regardless. Because they're both restricted pretty much to Knight teams. Because if you're building a pure Sword's Edge team, it's a Knight team. And even if you're building a Knight team with the other weapon, it's obviously still a Knight team. While you might have a little bit of a wider range to be able to use it with, it's still the same general premise, because most of the better Knights are in Sword's Edge anyways. Yeah, Knight has more overlap. But if you use pure Sword's Edge, you would actually get more overall bonus. Because when you do Sword's Edge, you get the bonus for both Sword's Edge Kingdom and Knights, whereas if you do Knights, you're just going to get the Knight bonus. You're just going to craft both, nice. Honestly, I would advise eventually just obtaining every single craftable weapon in there. I know for some people that might not be realistic because it costs a lot of diamonds, and that could be a lot more mythics that you could be getting. But I do advise eventually getting every single weapon that ever appears in Soulforge. Because while it's not required yet, higher kingdom stars are going to require them. I think one of them requires 7 or 8 of the weapons to be maxed for one of the higher star levels. Yeah, the effect on Kane's sword does have the barrier on it. You always have to double check what they end up having, because there's quite a few weapons that on face value it might not seem as good, but then you actually check the perks that it has, and it could be quite a bit better. Like for example, the weapon that we're getting for the elves seems like an average decent double weapon, but then you realize it has things like enchant, and it becomes a lot better. Enchant is a really solid effect on any weapon, because it helps fill it right back up immediately. So you can keep casting it over and over again. So even if you don't give it mana, it still has a way of gaining back up. Enchant is one of the strongest perks on any weapon as well. The strongest one are auto extra turn, 4 times death mark, 20% instant kills, oddly enough, on some of them. 20% chance to kill first slot. What other really good perks were on there? Enchant, Entangle, a Storm if it's applicable to whatever the weapon's doing. And there might be a few other ones in there. There's like a handful that are really solid whenever a weapon ends up getting it. That can basically make the weapon go from average to above average just by having one of them. And definitely if it had multiple. Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 weapons that on cast actually hunters mark the entire enemy team, which is an interesting mechanic. because it makes it so you don't have to use anything with the cunning tree, which is basically the next best method for hunter marking the entire enemy team. Alpha extra turn every hunter mark. Hunter mark every extra turn, I mean. Also, did I really mention those two weapons inversely? Because I said this one was the knight one. Is it not? Oh, it is Sword's Edge. I did say it inversely. Whoops. My bad. Yeah, I did say this was knight. Whoops. I misread that. Definitely misread that. I think what I was looking at was the, on the second one, I think I was reading what it was from. And obviously they're both from Sword's Edge. So that might have been why I slipped like that. Whoops. Gigantic fail. Sorry about that. You use both of them pretty much for the same premise, though. The knight one just has a slightly wider range of what it can be used for. But if anyone still has any other questions, do let me know. As the main goal of the rest of the stream is to get one more level on Barbarian. And then we'll probably have it maxed by Tuesday, so I can cover a video on it on Tuesday. Of the Barbarian class that came in like 2 weeks ago or so. How good is Possessed King? Slightly above average. Some people might say way, way higher than that. But I personally have always considered him just slightly above average. His biggest benefit is his final perk, which gives 2 explosion every extra turn. And that's where you get about 90% of his value. The other 10% of his value comes from the fact that he has the most transforms of anything in the game, having potentially 3 transforms. They're all at a % chance, but he technically has the highest amount, even though it's luck-based. But those are the only 2 things it's really used for. It's really situational on if a Possessed King is good for your team. You have to get a lot of extra turn value for it to be worth it. The main team compositions that tend to use it are teams that have a lot of skull spam, particularly if they have Doom Skull related skull spam, are the biggest teams that you tend to use Possessed King with. In most other situations, you don't really need them. Let's see. You're low level and running a Devour team, and you're doing very well at all battles. Yes, anything that you run that can upscale tends to do pretty good when you're in early game, because you can fight pretty much you can fight pretty much anything at equal difficulty, because if you can just instantly kill them, then obviously it doesn't matter what their stats are necessarily. They're all going to die to it instantly. But yeah, things like Devour, Instant Kill, Death Mark, stuff like that, any kind of mechanics like that tend to be really effective in early game, as well as things like Barrier, Mana Drain, because they don't care what the values are, they just automatically do something. Barrier will always negate a whole amount of damage, even if it's enough to instantly kill you, and Mana Drain would still make it so they can't cast on you. So a lot of mechanics like that can be very powerful in early game. Yeah, Devour spam is definitely one of them. And they've been adding more and more early game Devour options too. At one point in the game, you pretty much had to own Legends and Mythics. Or actually at one point there were only Legends that had Devour. But now there's plenty of low rarity troops that have it as well. So you don't need to be, you don't need to get lucky in order to actually have a Devour team anymore. There's plenty of options. Gluttony and Bullet, I believe, are the 2 best early game Devourers currently in the game. There's still plenty of other ones that can. But Bullet, because it has 50% chance, but it requires 13 brown on the board. However, it's pretty easy to keep spamming brown. There's a lot of really good brown options, as well as Mountain Crusher, which is really cheap to obtain. And the other one is Gluttony. Gluttony has a 20% chance. However, it gets explosions. And off those explosions, it can get about half to all of its mana back. So it gets to loop a little bit better. So even though it might not seem like much, he can kind of just keep going over and over again pretty easily. Like, out of all the Devourers, he has one of the most spammable Devour, even though it's only at 20% chance. Triple scroll spam can work. However, you normally tend to keep it to only double. But if you're using a Raph I don't really consider as a skull spammer in a way. He's more so used like a Possessed King in that he's used more so for his explosions. more so than anything. Even though he does technically have double convert. But yeah, most skull spam teams I do only run double skull spam. Mostly because you need, you normally need one support troop and you need a mana accumulator. And there's not always room necessarily for a third skull spammer. Double converts can technically run as their own mana generators. The only problem is you might have a slow start because everything needs to get their mana going. And all the double converters have an 18 mana cost, which can be a little bit hard to fill initially. But once it gets going, you wouldn't notice. But it can get a really slow start. Kind of like the Vespera team. Where it's great when it gets going, but it's really slow to get started. A lot of teams tend to have that problem. It's why Leprechaun and things like that are so popular. Like Leprechaun, Mountain Crusher, stuff like that. Even Possessed King, in a way. Because mana accumulation is pretty important to do initially. Right at the start of battle. So you can actually get your team rolling. Because the main thing that makes battles lose, more often than not, is the enemy getting started prior to you getting started. If you can just get your troops rolling prior to the enemy, it generally leads to a win. In pretty much any battle. Also, I almost keep forgetting. We're already done with Hall of Guardians. I'm so glad we were able to get that done several weeks ago. Feels so good to not have to do that now. We still have one faction that I have not maxed yet, though. Sea of Sorrows. I still haven't done Sea of Sorrows. We will be the next time it rolls around. I don't think it's rolling around till about another 5 or 6 weeks, though. So we still got some time. But next time it's around, we're going to be doing it. For sure, 100%. Even if it takes us 3,000 gems, we are doing it. What question were you referring to, Foro? I didn't even see a question there. Oh, what mythic to craft next? Possessed King, Aquaticus, Ketchus, or Wild Queen? Wild Queen. Oh, Ketchus is pretty high up there, too. It's definitely a toss-up between Ketchus and Wild Queen. It depends what you want to use it for, or what you're looking to get a better troop for. Ketchus, I would say, its biggest 2 rolls, or its biggest few rolls. It'll actually... Do you own Yasmin's Pride? That would pretty much answer this question. If you own Yasmin's Pride, I would say Ketchus is probably the way to go. If you do not own Yasmin's Pride, I would say Wild Queen is the way to go. But Ketchus is used mostly for Tower of Doom and Delves. However, it does have some overlap into Guild Wars and PvP. And Wild Queen is almost exclusively just used for Guild Wars and also some for PvP. However, it scores insanely good for Guild Wars. And covers 3 Guild War days. Whereas Ketchus technically only covers brown and green, due to Yasmin's Pride normally being one of its bigger synergy items. You don't have to run it with Yasmin's Pride, it's just, particularly for delves and stuff, it tends to be one of the better ways, because it keeps them from dying, also giving a really good buff. And that's why I end up increasing his damage output, to actually upscale to the enemy. Because Wild Queen cannot upscale. The further she gets in like delves and stuff is probably 200, maybe even a little bit less before she starts failing. The Wild Queen is insanely good around your own level range, like things that are around similar stats to you. Any faction shard troops aside from Gargoyle and Truffle to make sure to get. Everything from Darkstone, especially on Switch this week, given that you have a Darkstone event. But even just generally speaking, all the troops in Darkstone, because you want to rush to 5-star and 10-star Darkstone, both of which give magic. And Darkstone still has a really high amount of troops overall. I forget how many stars it's currently at. But it's one of the easier Magic Kingdoms to get upgraded out of all the Magic Kingdoms that are currently around. So really good to consider doing that. Other than that, yes, Mirage Queen. Mirage Queen we're actually using on our team right now. This is what you would use to give Rowan a half mana start, and oh gosh, but it's what you would use to give Rowan a half mana start. You can also use Forest Guardian, however, it is way easier to obtain the Mirage Queen. Also, Mirage Queen has a better cast, and you end up getting Curse as well. It's actually one of the better Curse options in the game, as well as one of the cheaper, better Curse options in the game. And on top of that, it has some score reduction. Has a lot of things going for it. It's currently the strongest 50% mana start troop in the entire game, I would say. That used to be Divine Ishbala, but now I would say it's overall Mirage Queen, because it has a lot of synergies. It works with Rowain, it works for Truffles, it works even standalone if you had to. It works for a lot of mythics, quite a few mythics cover Elemental, and yeah, there's just so many strong Elemental troops out there in the current state of the game. I'm really surprised they haven't nerfed, they haven't either nerfed this to 40% or buffed a Divine back to 50%. Because this is pretty much stronger than Divine ever was. But I should probably stop saying that because I don't want them to nerf this. It's used for so many teams in the current state of the game. And it would ruin almost all of them if it was to be switched. Yeah, you could use it with Forest Guardian to blow up a ton of green. I don't think you would ever try using them both together, though you could. Isn't anything bad against doing so. It would definitely work. I've never been as big of a fan of Forest Guardian, though. There's a few of the double converts I felt like have never really worked as well. Forest Guardian is not as far down. But the ones I really feel like haven't had as much of a synergy, even though they could potentially have a lot of potential in the future, are things like Sakima, things like the one that has double silence. I actually just forgot its name off the top of my head. Nimue. Nimue's the one. And a few others that I feel like don't really ever get used much. Alderfather, oddly enough. Alderfather I do use for one Guild War defend, and he does have a few synergies here or there. But I don't know, I just feel like there's those several that their coloration just doesn't really work too well as far as what they convert relative to other options that exist within the game. Some of the stronger ones are things like Divine Ishbala, Quillin, the Wrath, depending on the team as well. And I feel like I'm forgetting a really important one. Oh, yes, the one that literally just came in, Quitten, actually has a pretty good convert as far as what it synergizes with. I believe there's a few others. Let's see, what are your priorities there? Mirage Queen, Gob Truffle, Harpy Mage, Frostfire King, Gargoyle, Graveseer, Drowned Sailor, Alderfather, Luna. Not sure exactly about that priority list, but that seems about right, yeah. I'd personally say King Gob Truffle is #1 priority, personally. But Mirage Queen is pretty high up there as well. Harpy Mage, yeah, I guess Harpy Mage too. Harpy Mage in the Mountain Crusher, or as an alternative, Mountain Crusher is a pretty decent option. It's basically a red-yellow Mountain Crusher, essentially. This is what Harpy Mage is. Not exactly the same, but pretty close. And it makes it so you free up your hero weapon so you don't necessarily need to run Mountain Crusher. You could run, like, Mang into Harpy Mage and run it that way. Yeah, I guess that list is pretty much spot on. I would just say King Gob Truffle is 100% first priority. And also, doing All-Seeing Eye in the other Magic Kingdoms in order to get them to 5 stars is also pretty high priority. So doing Silver Necropolis to get Silver Glade up. Doing All-Seeing Eye to get Darkstone up, things like that. And the main reason for that is +1 magic is obviously very valuable. And while the troops that you might be getting are rather useless, you would still want to do them for the star levels. Because +1 magic still outweighs having a troop that you're barely ever going to use, even if it is a viable troop. Let's see. Also, did we ever gain that level? No, we did not. I'll go check it and it will be like less than 10 XP off probably, as it normally is. I feel like every single time I check it, if I was to just have done battles relative to the amount of time it takes to check it, I probably would already have it max. But let's see, where was the thing? Right over here, class. And yep, 8 more battles. That's what I thought. Let's go get them in. And then we'll finish out the last 2 levels. And then the class is basically maxed because I have no intention on getting 100 anytime soon. All of its good perks end at 70, like most hero classes. Also, do keep in mind, Barbarian hero class is useless. The only reason I'm getting it upgraded is to show it in its strongest form. But even its strongest form is still useless. But I still wanted to show it at its full potential, which we'll have upgraded in tomorrow. Should have it by tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, definitely by Tuesday. As far as having it at 70. Ooh, from a pet orb, he got a wisdom. Well, it could have been worse. Could have been a green. Oh, that's not the way I wanted to take it. Whoops. That does remind me. I need to go get more codes from Salty. I only have enough for another week, I believe. Hey, what holidays were coming up? There's St. Patrick's Day. I need to see if we can get a special code for St. Patrick's Day. Need to ask her about that. Might even need to ask her for a special code for version 4. Or what is it? 4.8? Yeah, 4.8. I'm not sure if that's going to be happening within the next month or so, but I feel like it might be. It's likely late March or early April for next patch. Oh yeah, there's President's Day tomorrow. That's not like a global thing though. That's just a United States thing, isn't it? We'd probably just give out double normal code. So that's not even like really much of a real holiday. Can you beat that with a purple team? I can go check. Let me go bring it up real quick. Oh, there's our level. Nice. Then we'll go end it with fighting that team with our purple. Let's go use the purple team that we're using from yesterday, or at the end of yesterday, not the Vespera one. And then we'll go grab that team. Let me go open up YouTube real quick. I don't have YouTube open right now. Let's see. Where to go? I'm looking for your channel. And from my channel, I just click on my thing, leave a like on my stream, mute the ad, pause the ad, leave a like, and let's go and copy that team. Copy. X out of that. And should just be able to put it somewhere else. Where's a useless team I don't need? Let's see. Where is a useless team I don't need? We kind of need all of these at the moment. This one we probably don't need. Yeah, this is a yellow Vespera. Let's get rid of yellow Vespera. Okay, so let's go fight this team then. I assume this is your Purple Day Guild War defend. If you want to fight it with our... well, gosh, that was a lot of defend battles. But let's go see. Where'd it go? It was the dash line, says the divider. Okay, so we'll go fight this with Purple Guild War Day. See what happens. Where's my Guild War Purple? There we go. Alright, let's see what happens. I don't think we need to change anything with Archmages. Oh, I forgot to change my perk, though. I think I'm on pure armor right now. And this team should be running with not pure armor. It should be running with either HP or... it should be running with 20% mana start into 16 HP. Or 20% mana start into 8 attack. So actually, before we get into this, let me actually go do that. Because if this was a natural Guild War, I'd be running with it. So let me go change it real quick. If the game will load. 1 second. But yeah, I'd probably run this most likely with 20% into 16 HP. Just to make sure Zugaf doesn't die in most situations. If I'll ever load. Come on, game. What are you doing? Load! Load. There we go. Let me go change these perks. Where'd it go? We want 20%. And we'll go life. I guess we could technically go cleanse too. If we ever needed it. But 20% is definitely what we want to run with. But anyways, let's go fight it now. Let's see. Test defend team. And fight. Now that we have the correct perks. You always definitely want to run 20% with this team. Has a lot of things that require a lot of mana. It doesn't naturally have any amount. And look, we even got the same start. It froze the exact same thing. That's convenient. I'll take that. I'll take that. We are frozen on yellow, but I'm still going to take it because it's full mana. We'll go and grab... I guess we can Zugaf the full. Which I might even just Zugaf the Zugaf. Oh no, Essence of Evil. Oh no, there's Zugaf. Oh no, all the deaths. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's strong. if it gets going before we get going, that's strong. If we would have Zoogoff that prior to that, it would have died. But if we don't have time to Zoogoff it, that hurts. Now that thing is disabled, and I can't even get it undisabled. And then we get silenced for poking it too. Yeah, it's an interesting defense team. If we can get rolling prior to it doing that, it would just die though. Because we can easily just Zoogoff it prior to it Zoogoffing us. It really just comes down to who gets it first, it feels like. Then we'll go test it again. Depends how lucky our leprechaun wants to be. Apparently not that lucky. It's the battle of leprechaun luck. Let's see. We don't have any good convert. Why is there so few green on the board? There's nothing that denied green. Right, we'll take that for now. I'll grab that to cascade it. Again, not full mana, but then we'd take this next turn and we should be good to go. Ideally, you'd want to take it off of purple. We don't have it though, but we'll try cascading for it. Didn't get it. So now we have a poke on anything we want. I think I'm going to go for Essence of Evil. I think that might be more of a threat than Zoogoff in this situation. So we'll do that. We can then kill it with a skull. No, we can't. It has skull reduction. I still think I'm going to go for it though, because its silence doesn't do anything to us. Now we deny all these yellows and we should be good to go from there. Now we can finally get Wild Queen rolling. And that's match. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Another Wild Queen. But yeah, it really comes down to who gets their instant kill first. It's an interesting combo nonetheless, though. It's one of those, like, rush down teams that if it gets going first, it wins, and if it doesn't, it loses. It reminds me a lot of, like, that Empower into Iron Gut team that we faced a little bit earlier. We still won against that battle, but we barely won with one troop left earlier this week in Guild Wars. Yeah, I like it. It's a pretty strong defense team. It is definitely strong. And oddly enough, I actually don't use Zoogoff on my defend on any of the days. Might need to incorporate him eventually. I feel like there's a lot of troops I don't incorporate anymore because you can only do 24. And of course, there's actually more than 24 viable troops in the game. Surprisingly. It only feels like there's that many viable at a given time. But there's probably about 50 to 100 currently. They're like particularly viable for Guild War defend. Zoogoff does count as a boss troop, so yes, you could theoretically run one of those boss counters against it. I'm not sure if you would commit that hard to it, but yes, pretty much any of the boss troops that have a 5x multiplier will basically one-shot Zoogoff. It's one of the reasons why I don't currently run him on any of the defense, because then you have to put into consideration literally every single one of the raid troops, because all of them do 5x bed damage to it, assuming the person has them maxed. You said this week something about the new kingdom coming. Can you explain? This week? This week we're getting a new faction. This faction is going to be adding another one for Underworld. And it's associated to... Watch, I forget where it's associated to. I need to go double check. Actually, I think it tells us right over here. Where to go? It is associated to the kingdom of... Shentang. Oh, that makes sense. But yeah, it's associated to Shentang. The next faction this Friday is a Shentang faction. It's going to be bringing in 4 useless troops. And it's going to be bringing in +1 magic if you happen to have a really high renown. And that'll be coming this Friday. It wasn't this week, though, if you mean like this last week. It's next week. It's on Friday. Yeah, any other questions, anyone? Otherwise, we'll be heading out for now. We'll be back tomorrow, same time as always, hour and a half prior to now tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're mostly going to be messing around with the raids. It's going to be a repeat raids too, which is, I believe, the first repeat raids ever, or it definitely is. If it's a repeat raids, it is the first ever repeat raids. And did I say raids? I mean invasions. It's a repeat invasions, not a raid. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Oh, regular kingdoms? We might eventually get another regular kingdom. I meant faction this week, though, not kingdom. I sometimes mention factions as kingdoms. But no, we're not getting a new kingdom this week. We're getting a new faction this week. We're probably not getting a new kingdom forever. It's probably could be another year before we see a new kingdom. But I meant to say faction, which are pretty much like the kingdoms that are currently released, but it's not actually a kingdom. You missed your question earlier. 50% Necromancy or Umberwolf? Umberwolf. Umberwolf is better in those situations, because the amount of value and speed you would get from the extra purple mana way outweighs a little bit extra mana, the extra bit of souls you would get. But yeah, you would definitely want to go Umberwolf. The only instance where it is sometimes worth considering if you want to go and replace with Umberwolf or a soul gain is if you happen to own 3 Fairish Ras. There's an argument to be made that 3 Fairish Ra is better than 2 Fairish Ra into Umberwolf. I have not tested that extensively enough to really know for sure. From what I've tested in the past, they seem like almost the exact same rate. However, there might be a slight chance that Fairish Ra is slightly better. You'd have to get a lot of data on it to know for sure. But that's probably the only instance I would say is worth it. It is definitely not worth it, replacing it for 50%. Every single time it's better to have the Storm so you can feed Dragon Soul a bit quicker. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Leave a like if you enjoyed the stream, and we'll be back, as I mentioned, tomorrow. Same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll have the event video up soon, TM, as well as the Quillen team, or not Quillen, I keep calling him Quillen, Quentin, going over the 50% night bonus, which actually was a pretty good troop for once. We don't have anything really good coming in next week, but, or actually, yeah, we do. I shouldn't say that. We have a power trip coming in. It might have some good synergies. We'll need to mess around with that to kind of see what it can go. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by, and goodbye, everyone.